Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So this evening we read from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, 5th chapter, text 13. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasaste sukham vashi nava tvare pure tehi Naiva kurvan na karayan sarva karmani manasa sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi sanyaste sukham vashi Navatvare pure dehi Navatvare pure dehi Naiva kurvana karayan Naiva kurvana karayan Sarva all karmani activities, manasa, by the mind, sanyasya, giving up, aste, remains, sukham, in happiness, vashi, one who is controlled, navatvare, in the place where there are 9 gates, Pure, in the city. Tehi, the embodied soul. Na, never. Eva, certainly. Kurvan, doing anything. Na, not. Karayan, causing to be done. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, the material body, neither working nor causing work to be done. Purport. The embodied soul lives in the city of 9 gates. The activities of the body or the figurative city of body are conducted automatically by its particular modes of nature. The soul, although subjecting himself to the conditions of the body, can be beyond those conditions if he so desires. Owing only to forgetfulness of his superior nature, he identifies with the material body and therefore suffers. By Krishna consciousness, he can revive his real position and thus come out of his embodiment. Therefore, when one takes to Krishna consciousness, one at once becomes completely aloof from bodily activities. In such a controlled life, in which his deliberations are changed, he lives happily within the city of 9 gates. The 9 gates are mentioned as follows: Navatvare pure dehi hangso lelayate bahi vashi sarvasya lokasya stavarasya charasya cha The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is living within the body of a living entity, is the controller of all living entities all over the universe. The body consists of 9 gates, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, 1 mouth, the anus and the genitals. The living entity in his conditioned stage identifies himself with the body, but when he identifies himself with the Lord within himself, he becomes just as free as the Lord, even while in the body. Quoted from Shvetasvatara Upanishad 3:18. Therefore, a Krishna conscious person is free from both the outer and inner activities of the material body. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navatvare pure dehi naiva kurvana karayan. When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, neither working nor causing work to be done. Om Agyatimaranyasya Gananchana Salakyam Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here in this chapter entitled Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness, or in Sanskrit Karma Vibhaga Yoga. So that means here Krishna explains what is real sannyas. Sannyas is not externally renouncing everything, but internally we are not ready for it. We cannot become a Vaishnava or a transcendentalist by external change, or just by acting externally. The change has to come from within. Otherwise we are like a rasagula, looks outside very nice. We think it's rasagula or gulab jamun, but if we bite inside, dry, not really sweet. No, very. We all tasted rasagula. It must be very juicy. So the renunciation has to come from inside, and to do that, we have to know who actually is renouncing. Who? Is it the body? Is it the senses? Is it the mind? So because we say me, I, me, but actually this me, this aham and mameti, this is me and this is mine. This is the 2 conception everyone has in this material world. This is me, this body, and this is mine. Everything what is related to this body, what I have worked for it very hard. This is mine. This is the conception of the based on false ego, of too much identification with this material body. We have these 2 conceptions of I am mine, aham and mameti. So what is the aham? Aham. I don't say me body or I body. It is mine body, my body. That means the body belongs to me. That means inside of the body is an indweller. Is it proper English? Indweller? An indweller, an inhabitant who lives like in a house or in a city. But somebody who lives in the house, he says not, I am the house, I house. Or I'm the city. Although New Yorkers, many years ago, God brother, he says, a New Yorker, because the New Yorkers are very staunch followers of living in New York, he says, New Yorker never leaves New York, always lives in New York. Even if he leaves for some time, he always comes back. So in this way, one identifies oneself very much with the city we are grown up and where we work and where we have our family and our life, our identification. This is my city, this is New York. A Londoner, he thinks, I'm a Londoner. This is proper English. Londoner. I'm a Londoner. I'm a New Yorker. I'm this, I'm that. But actually we are not New Yorkers, we are not Londoners, we are not Indians, we are not Americans, English, whatever. We are the spirit soul. But the spirit soul is not visible. Like the subtle body is not visible. It is antakarana. The antakarana is the inside dwelling, that subtle body, consisting of ahankara, means what we call false ego, the false identification with this body, then the intelligence, the mind, buddhi, mana, and consciousness, the polluted consciousness. It's called in Sanskrit chitta, A2T, chitta. These four things, they are the four antakaranas. And they're practically like a covering of the pure soul. But the soul, because the soul since time immemorial is in touch with this material energy, Maya, it identifies himself with this Maya and considers himself a material product. I'm Maya. I'm the material product. I'm this body. And we identify everything based on the bodily conception of life. Although the soul actually never belongs to this material world, never belongs to a certain body. Sometimes there's a question, is there old soul and young soul? What is the answer? Are all the souls the same age? Or there are younger ones and older ones? What you would say?
No age.
No age. Good. Your opinion? Or you heard it from somewhere? It's your opinion or you heard it from somewhere?
Well, this is what I feel like.
You feel like even. You are realized. Very good. What you would say, Prabhu? There are old souls, new souls, younger souls?
There's nothing as such.
Their souls will look old or souls will look younger?
Nothing as such.
Huh?
Krishna's Ansha, since time immemorial that existed.
So that means all souls are
There's nothing as old and new.
they're never born, huh?
Eternally existed.
Yeah. Janma, Mrityu, Chara, Vyadi, Sukha, Dukkha, what is it? There's neither birth nor death. What's the verse? 220. Na hanyate hanimani sharire, na chayate, na mriyate, akadachin. So it's very clear. There's never born. A soul is never born, never gets old, and therefore also never dies. But everyone is afraid of death. and everyone is convinced. I took birth, and everyone is convinced, yes, there is something inside, but we don't know what it is. Because we are so much associated with the material body that we forgot actually our real identity. Although we believe we have a mind, we have experience of it, we can think, we can accept something, we can reject something. These are functions of the mind. There's some intelligence here. To recognize something needs intelligence. A child whose intelligence is not very developed cannot distinguish what is good for him and what is not. Intelligence is not developed. Therefore, the parents always, or teacher, have to be always watching that the child is not harming himself with something, with fire, for example, with a knife. So needs intelligence how to use the material energy in the proper way, not to harm, but to use it in a favorable way. So the soul, in the one sense, it's originally pure, as we know, because it's, as you say, a part and parcel of the Lord, Jiva Bhuta Mahabahu. The living entity, the Jiva, is an eternal part of the Lord, Sanatana, and as such it is eternal, and it has a similar quality like the Lord, but small. The Lord is Vibhu, we are Anu, and because we are Anu, we are very tiny. The Jiva can easily become dragged away from his original nature. What is original nature of the soul? Chit Shakti. What means Chit? Chit means awareness. That means it's never in ignorance. It is never in ignorance. For Bhakti-yoga Thakur says, how is possible that somebody who never is in ignorance, that he falls in ignorance? This is a mystery. It's a mystery. It is inconceivable. Because it is the pollution, or how to say, the identification of the soul with the material body, or that it makes a choice to go in contact with material nature. It is something very, very subtle. It just happens. So that because the soul belongs to marginal energy, so it easily can either become attracted to Maya or to Krishna. Actually, the most part of living entities, they stay in the transcendental realm, in the spiritual world. It's only 1/4 of living entities, they stay in the material world. And for them, the fortunate ones who will come in contact with the spiritual master and receive spiritual knowledge, they will have the opportunity to realize themselves and come out of the ignorance and come to the light, come to Krishna consciousness. I narrated, I think, not last lecture, lecture before, I think, Bharata. Bharata who became Chat Bharata in next life. So he was a king in first life, son of Rishabhadev. Then he became attracted to the deer somehow. Although he was already quite realized, self-realized, and attained a higher level of self-realization, he became very much attached to this deer, and ultimately became more charitable to the deer, so that he gave up or neglected his own duty or sadhana, or spiritual life. So time by time, if we are neglecting the sadhana, not following our daily routine in sadhana bhakti, and we're contemplating or putting our interest in so many other things who are not related with bhakti, that's always a danger, as long we are in this material world. And so therefore strict sadhana or absorption in sadhana bhakti is very important, because as soon we become we deviate and we are contemplating other things, and with the time we consider other things also very nice, very important. Especially a deer, small, tiny, who lost his mother just a few minutes ago. So the yogi Bharat, he thought, he felt compassion. Naturally, what will happen? I have to save it. And then, but then he became always more and more attached to it, because the deer didn't left. The deer accepted him practically as his father and mother and only shelter. So the deer didn't know anything else anymore. The yogi Bharat, he lost his sense, his identity as an eternal servant of the Lord. He deviated from his svarup, from his identity as a servant of Krishna, and he became a servant of the deer. Not only with the physical, but with the mind, with the consciousness. When the deer sometimes was not present, he was thinking, where is the deer, where is the deer? Even in meditation, he thought always about the deer. What happened with the deer? And instead that he was meditating, and when the deer was nearby, he was always looking with sidelong glance how the deer is doing. So he was completely deer conscious. So accordingly, on that, when he gave up the body, he thought about the deer. Yam vam apismaram bhavam yachatyante kalevaram. Tam tam evaiti kaunteya sadatat bhava bhavita. Krishna says, where we have the consciousness in the time of the death, there we will go. So this the mind, the mind actually, what is the consciousness? This in the external world, because the soul has no contact with the external world without the help of the mind and the intelligence. So we need, the soul either needs a subtle and a physical body to live in the material world, and we need a spiritual body with spiritual senses, with spiritual mind and intellect in the spiritual world. But in the material world, we need the mind. But now the soul is like covered. It's covered like by smoke, like a fire by smoke. So one cannot really recognize the soul because it's covered by the mind. The mind is covering, it's completely covering the soul, so that practically the consciousness is not coming out anymore, or cannot come through it anymore. Bharata, later on, when he was speaking to the king, Rahugana, what's his name, the king, he employed him as a palanquin carrier. Later on, he became Chat Bharat. He was a Brahmana, but he didn't show himself physically as a Brahmana in the external world, so that people will not engage him in Brahminical activities. Even the father wanted to train me, he did everything opposite. He didn't like to get a Brahmana identification. Because like Lord Chaitanya says, I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm not a Shudra, I'm not a Grihastha, I'm not a Vanaprastha, I'm not a sannyasi, and I'm also not a brahmachari. I'm the servant of the dear servants of Krishna. Gopi, Gopi Partha, Kamalyo, Dasa, Dasa, Anudasa. Anudasa. We are not the direct servants. We are not servants of the servant. We are the Anudasa. Anu means insignificant, very small servants of the servant of the servant of the servant. Prabhupada said that's the perfection. Don't try to become direct servant. Because that means already you consider yourself great. I'm a big servant. So we should always consider ourselves as insignificant servant. So in his teaching, he revealed himself to this king. Actually, the king, he had some curiosity, he had some openness, open-mindedness for philosophy. Also about philosophy about the self. So he was very eager to hear. And due to the association of a sadhu like Jata Bharat, this interest who was in him latent in a sleeping, covered way, became more and more woken up. Because a brahmana like Jat Bharat, self-realized soul, is like fire. And this king, he became like dry wood. He captured the fire. So Jat Bharat, he explained the mind is the cause of our material existence, the polluted mind. The same thing what Krishna also says in the Bhagavad-Gita. Therefore the mind can bind us to the material energy more and more and more, because the mind is influenced by the three modes of material nature. Actually, the mind is born out of goodness, sattva guna. Ego, false ego, is born out of ignorance originally. The mind from sattva guna. Buddhi, intelligence, from raja guna. And that's according to Sankhya from Lord Kapila Dev, 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he explains that actually the mind is born from manifested from the mode of goodness, and he becomes polluted by the mixtures of the three modes of material nature, because he associates. Everyone in the material world have association with the gunas. And guna means rope. We are bound up by the ropes of the material nature. Tri guna mayi. And then if you are captured in these gunas, you are not free anymore. That means you act according to the gunas. And Jat Bharata explains that the mind, the polluted mind, is like a fire of a torch who is not properly burning in a lamp. So what happens? What happens with the lamp? It becomes smoky. Because the fire is inside of the lamp, of this, what's it called? The wick is not burning properly. Everything comes black. The wick becomes black. The lamp around it, made of glass, turns completely black. So you cannot see the light. No. So Jat Bharata says, in the same way, when the mind is polluted by the modes of material nature, the pure consciousness of the soul, who is like fire, like light, is not visible. Therefore, the first purpose of spiritual life, of any yoga process, is meant to purify the mind. Right? To purify the mind. Savai mana Krishna padaravindu. The best way to purify the mind is to fix him on transcendental object. There are three objects according to different visions and realization of transcendentalists, Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. So the Bhagavatam describes all the three aspects of the different yogis and transcendentalists who engage in the different kinds of meditation in the Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan. But the Bhagavan aspect, to fix our mind on Krishna, Savai Mana, Krishna Padara Vindayo, Vachamsi Vaikunta Gurana Vanane. So to hear, to speak, Vacha, Vachamsi, Vaikunta Guna. To speak about the qualities, transcendental qualities of Vaikunta, Vaikunta Lila, Goloka Lila. This purifies the mind, the heart. Dhyana vasti tat katena manasa pashyanti yam yogina. Later on in the Bhagavatam also it is described, yoga means to absorb our mind in Krishna consciousness and spiritual activities. But the mind, if he is uncontrolled, if we neglect him, if we let him go through the 9 gates of the body, in and out, as he likes, to enjoy, to go hunting in the material world, in the forest of material enjoyment, there's so many targets the uncontrolled mind can find in this material forest of enjoyment. Because he thinks, I'm the enjoyer, I'm Puranjana, I'm the indweller of this city of the 9 gates. And he also marries beautiful queen, his intelligence. But unfortunately he neglects his intelligence, the soul with the mind together and with the senses going out of the city of the 9 gates, hunting after animals, after some sense objects. And for a long time he's not coming home. And what happened with the woman, the wife is neglected, husband is not coming home for a longer time, she becomes frustrated, becomes fried, she becomes angry, very upset. So she retires, she hides somewhere. Previously ladies who were angry, they didn't show themselves in public, there was a room of anger. Where they could not make themselves visible. Because a woman who is angry should not be seen in the public. It's not polite. So she always, therefore, the queen, Puranjani, who is married with Puranjana, who considers himself the enjoyer of this body of the 9 gates, feels neglected, hiding herself. So when the king finally comes home and looking for his wife, watching where is she, he asks his servants, maids, have you seen my queen, my wife? They told him, yeah, she's angry. She's angry on you. She is in her room. Then he had to go to pacify his intelligence, the wife, and make her calm and give her promises. Give her promises, I will not do this anymore, I will not go hunting anymore. I will become a nice Griha man who is serving Griheshwari, his wife. Actually, if the wife, Bhakti-yoga Thakur says, if the wife is satisfied at home, happy with the husband and with the house and everything what is belonging to a household, and especially if also Krishna is in the center and devotional service, then there's Lakshmi present. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, wherever Krishna consciousness is practiced in a house, with the family, wife, body, children, hearing chanting about Krishna, hearing about scriptures, Bhagavad-Gita, Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam, so many nice books one can read. Nowadays these books became replaced by TV. Everyone is watching TV, Bollywood and all kinds of movies, and so much passion, ignorance. Everything looks a little similar like Krishna Leela, because originally everything has a relation with the original Leela in the spiritual world. But here, because it is influenced by the lust, karma, it becomes transformed into lust, in passion and ignorance. What binds you in the material world? What makes you crazy ultimately? So this tendency to hear, to watch something, to discuss nice topics, is given in form of Shastra, form of scriptures. That one should become attached to this kind of katha, chanting holy name and hearing and chanting about Krishna, and about speaking about devotional service. Then the house will turn into Vaikuntha, into Goloka. Bhaktivinoda Thakur he sings in his songbook Sharanagati. There are 6 processes of surrendering, beginning with Dainya. Dainya means humility. He starts with Dainya, because the original Sanskrit verse starts with accepting everything favorable. Anukulyasya sankalpa, pratyukulyasya vachana, and reject everything that is unfavorable. Rakshishvatite vishvaso, accepting Krishna as my protector. Goptritve varanam tata, and accept him as my maintainer. He is my God, he is my father, he is my mother, he is my guru, he is my everything, he is my maintainer. I'm only maintained by him, and it's actually his house, it's not my house. Somebody who follows the process of Sharanagati doesn't take his body and his house and family as mine anymore. He transcends I am mine, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he sings, by transforming it to Krishna. Now my house is your house. My wife belongs, my whole family, my brother, my children, even my animals in the house, all my possessions, they belong to you. I surrender unto you. Actually, this process is called Atma Nivedanam, full surrender. And then Dainya. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur starts with Dainya. So I consider why he take Dainya first, and accepting favorable things in the end. So I came to the conclusion it is because without humility, without that we become submissive and humble, feeling humbleness, regret for our sin, for so many this life and so many other lives, and we cannot surrender. We cannot surrender to Krishna, to spiritual master, to superior. So the humility is most important. Therefore Lord Chaitanya gave us this, Trinada Pisanoichana, Tarora Pisahishna, Mani Namanadina, Kirtaniya Sadahari, to always remain humble, meek and humble, tolerant, like that. So this is a very important principle, because opposite of humility is proudness, arrogance, and that's a demoniac principle, Darpa. There are 6 demoniac principles, qualities in the 16th chapter of the Gita. One of it is that the demon feels proud. So this feeling of proudness is actually a demoniac quality. And what is demoniac quality? It is born of Tamaguna and Rajaguna, especially Rajaguna. But the devotee who is in the mode of goodness or tries to attain pure devotion or attraction to Krishna, we have to come to the realization to become humble. And that actually, to make us humble, this is the school of material world, the school of hard knocks. The material world makes us humble. The only problem is if we materially become humble or externally, and not really from the soul, from inside, when this humbleness is not really coming from inside, from the soul, then this humbleness will not stay. Like a criminal. A criminal, he becomes captured by police, they put him in prison, sentence him for some time in prison. Then he regrets. After some time he regrets. He cries and regrets, and he makes promises. That when I come out of this prison, then I will not act in this way anymore, that I will again come in it. But soon he will come out again, because he didn't learn something else, some better habits. He's a habited criminal. Then he does the same again, and then again put in prison. So that means, what is the use of his promises in the prison and his regret and humility? This is not humility. This is just suffering, the suffering condition caused by your suffering, a condition caused by your suffering. But it didn't give the change of heart. So therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and when the scriptures, and Rupa Goswami and Nectar of Devotion speaks about humility, dainya. Dainya is actually on level of prema, of love. Only love to God, love to Krishna can change the heart. And somebody who is in love, he has genuine humility. Has no proudness. Proudness is not born in the heart, in the pure heart of a devoted person who got the mercy of Radharani, mercy of spiritual master, mercy of Vaishnavas, mercy that we can do something in the service, in seva. This is the most valuable thing that we can do, or what we can receive. It's not money, it's not birth in a high family and make a career in some success in some field of material life, or become a big ruler. No, this is not riches. It's not real opulence. Lord Chaitanya asked Ramananda Roy, who is the greatest capitalist? So Ramananda Roy answered, the greatest capitalist is he who has love to Radha Krishna, who has Krishna prema. He is a capitalist. But he doesn't show himself as a capitalist. You know. Nowadays, capitalists in Kali Yuga, they have to show, I'm a capitalist. Gold, valuable ornaments, dress, the most fancy phone, mobile phone, or something, nice watch. everything status, to become recognized in a certain circle in the society, you need to have status symbols that you belong to them. If you're a poor guy, your status is nothingness, so you live with those people. And if you're rich, then you have to have the symbols of the rich people. But the Bhagavatam says the decoration of the richest capitalist, of a devotee, is the Dikshava, Karunika, Suridam, Sarvadeinam, Achata, Shatrava, Shanta, Sadhava, Sadhubhushana. The ornaments of a sadhu is that he is tolerant, that he is merciful. You cannot be tolerant and merciful if you are not humble. Therefore, Trinada Pisanechana is actually real. It's a real mantra, I would say, secret of success. From that, everything will come. If you build a house on the wrong foundation, foundation is not proper, then you build a very nice palace, but it will break apart very soon because you build it up on the wrong foundation. Proper foundation is humility. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur starts Sharanagati with humility. To become meek and humble. Not in an artificial way, in a realized way. If you read his songs, how he explains himself, his whole life, he's very introspective and about his whole life, how he took birth, how he made a promise in the womb of mother. He was suffering very much because he was tied up in the embryo as a soul so much, and the soul is very much conscious about his situation. He prays to the Lord. He feels a connection with the Lord, and he prays the Lord. I promise you, if you get me out of this imprisonment of the womb of the mother, I'm in it, of this tied up situation. I promise you I will become your devotee. I will dedicate my life to you. But then what happened, he says, then I take birth and I'm surrounded by my family members, mother, father, relatives, and everyone is so much happy about me. Everyone is so much happy about me. They sing with me, they clap hands with me, they dance with me, and I start to smile. And if they smile, I'm smiling, and I'm thinking, oh, this is actually a very nice life. He forgets all the suffering from previous life and from womb of the body and from his promise. He forgets everything. And he becomes completely overwhelmed and attached to his new family members. In previous life, he had family members, most probably. And in previous, also again and again. But we always forget. Like Prabhupada is describing in Vrindavan Bhajan, they're like bubbles on the ocean. And different branches of trees with leaves like that, they come together for some time, and then waves come and they separate all these branches and bubbles, and then they formate somewhere else as another bubble society and leaf and branch society. And then again a wave will come and will separate everything. So many times we identify ourselves, become separated again, become united again with something else. Of course, everything material products, and then again, new identification. And so in this way, the soul, the conditioned soul, later on Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he describes, goes to school, then he learns a lot of knowledge in primary and then in higher school, And then he becomes with the time very proud and says, oh, I'm so much knowledgeable. And then he wants to make a career, some good profession. He marries, gets a wife, children, he needs a house. Then so much identification. His identification, attachments to different objects in this material world will become dear to him, increases more and more. His chakra is increasing more and more. And the more we become attached to it, the more it becomes difficult to come out of it. So therefore Krishna and the Shastras, they give us the process. Also Chat Bharata, he gives to the king the process of the sharp knowledge from Shastra and by Guru. And he says only by seva, humble service to Guru and the Vaishnavas, taking the dust from the Vaishnavas, and we can receive the transcendental knowledge. Yasya devi para bhaktir yatha devi tatha gurau. So we need to have, we will develop by mercy of the process of bhakti, simultaneously faith in Guru and Krishna. And in this way, all the secrets of Vedic knowledge will become revealed in the heart of the devotee, sincere devotee. Therefore, Chat Bharata recommends service to the Guru, sincere service, very dedicated, not just for some time, whole life, not only when he's present, also after he's not present anymore, because he's Guru physically, he stays for some time, but in Shiksha, that means in his instruction or in his books, what he leaves behind, he lives eternally. For Prabhupada, he told, I never die. I will keep going to live in the form of my books. Today is Bhagavatam Day. It's the Bhadra Purnima. Actually, Bhadra Purnima is described in the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Suta Goswami describes whoever distributes a Bhagavatam, of course it's recommended to give it as a present, as a gift, on a golden Singhasan. On the day of Bhadra Purnima, you give it to a friend as a gift, the Bhagavatam. Then you will go back to Godhead, you will never return to the material world. So that's the day where one can do it. Of course, we have every year this opportunity. Some that do it even every day. So to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, to distribute the Bhagavatam, to give a person opportunity to come in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with stories about Him, and also with the devotees who live the Bhagavatam and who are giving commentaries to the Bhagavatam, like our previous acharyas, Srila Prabhupada also. So he gave us these wonderful commentaries, and he told, I will stay always, eternally in form of my books. So if you want to know me, you should read my books. So to absorb as a daily sadhana, to study Srila Prabhupada's books, not only in the association of devotees, but also on yourself, by yourself, take time to absorb, hearing, chanting. Although kirtan, participating in the Bhagavad-Gita life, in form of sound, hearing, chanting, it's more important, because it goes very deep. Bhagavatam philosophy is not an intellectual book. It's not something that we can just study. It will become revealed. Same also Bhagavad-Gita. So many become confused if you read Bhagavad-Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. It doesn't make a sense materially. But if you have a devotional attitude, if you engage in service to Guru and the Vaishnavas, and serve the Bhagavatam, and by distributing and by speaking about it, then you get the purity, the peaceful mind, the pure mind. That means the fire in the lamp will burn very bright. It's not smoky anymore. And then transcendental knowledge will become very prominent in the consciousness of a devotee and in the heart. Tesham evano kampartam aham jnana cham tama nashayami atma bhavasto jnana tipena pasvataha. Krishna tells in the Bhagavad-Gita, 11th chapter, 10th chapter, 11th verse. Those who are, I'm situated in everyone's heart, and to those who are surrendered to me, out of compassion, those who are surrendered to me in the process of hearing and chanting, in the association of devotees, I will destroy their ignorance. Their ignorance of material attachments, so that they will become completely purified and freed from material existence. So the process is regular hearing, chanting. Bhagavatam says, Nasta preshu abhatreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Regularly hearing, chanting about Bhagavata Katha will it's purify you and will deliver you practically from most of the impurities. Almost, not everything is destroyed. That means the Bhagavatam is so, Jiva Goswami comments that the Bhagavatam is so powerful that even just on the level of Nishtha, Nastapreshu, Abhatreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Shlokher, Bhaktir Bhavati, Naishtiki. On the level of Nishtha, not on Prema, not to speak of Prema, even in Nishtha, you already get the mercy of Krishna. You will not take birth in the material world. So even if you still some impurities are there, Krishna will take the rest. He will ignore that. Like Prabhupada told, actually it needs 100% to go back to Godhead, 100% surrender and purity. But mostly it's not possible. He saw devotees that were very much down, discouraged. Prabhupada so okay, 90% also. And then even 80, and then at one point he even told 70, but not less. You should not now think, oh, Prabhupada told 70 or 50, because if you go 50, then it's 50-50 chance. You have to go on 100, and even if there's not 100% purified, Krishna will take care, because he sees the endeavor. The sincerity, because we cannot anyway purify ourselves on our own. The process will do it. So therefore, surrendering of Sharanagati, to accept favorable process, reject unfavorable, to accept Krishna's shelter and protection and maintenance, and that I'm his servant, and it's his house. I'm only taking care for this house for a service to the Lord, not because it is my house. I only take care for my family and for my body because it is Krishna's. So he turns he turns the aham and the mameti, everything in connection with Krishna, with yoga, with bhakti-yoga. It's not mine anymore, it belongs to you. So this is Atma Nikshepa, Karpanye, Satvida, Sharanagati, these 6 processes. It's very important to follow, to apply in our life, not only 1 or 2 of them, but all 6. Because from that we can grow in bhakti and become elevated to process of hearing and chanting and more intense. The process remains the same, but one becomes more intense, more with taste. Beginning we do it out of duty. Later on, if the purification is, if the mind is cooperating, and the mind actually wants to be happy, he's an enjoyer. He wants to be happy. So if the mind it becomes happy in Krishna consciousness, because he has so many opportunities to enjoy: hearing, chanting, remembering, contemplating, dancing, eating, so many things. Everything is here actually in Krishna consciousness movement. And the mind will become very satisfied if it becomes absorbed, if we are serious. You have to become serious. If we are cheating, sometimes serious, sometimes not serious, then the mind becomes irritated, and then he becomes great enemy, and he creates so much troubles to us. But if the mind will become sees that we are very serious in Krishna consciousness, then he becomes a very important instrument who will catapult the living entity to the spiritual world, to Krishna's lotus feet. So without the help of the mind, we have no opportunity, and the help of intelligence. So therefore, Krishna consciousness is so nice, but it's not only needs the external activities, but also the internal activities in the absorption in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, physically we do something, but psychological or subtly we are doing completely different. So it should be one line. That's yoga. Yoga is one line between the body, senses, mind, intelligence, and the soul. That's cooperation with the super soul, with Paramatma. That's yoga. Some they only focus on self-realization, but self-realization without Krishna consciousness is dry. It's just a hard work without grains, without result. But if we are focusing on self-realization as a beginning to realize Krishna and to serve Krishna in a pure way, in a pleasing way, then this subtle body and the gross body, everything becomes spiritualized. It becomes very changed. Therefore it is said, a devotee who engages his body, mind and words in Krishna's service, his body is not material anymore. Like if you put the iron in the fire for some time, it becomes fiery. You maybe say, oh, it's still iron, but if you touch it and then you burn your finger, then you see, oh, it is burning, it's really fiery. So the body becomes spiritualized. Intelligence, the mind, everything becomes spiritualized. And only when if everything becomes spiritualized, Mam chayo vipacharena bhakti-yogena sevate sagunan samatitaitam brahma boyaya kalpate. Then that's the pure bhakti, pure devotional service starts on that level. Then relish will come, then taste will come. Beginning we have a little taste, but mostly we are driven by faith, by results, by some motivation. But then later on we relish, we're not only faithful, but also relish. We realize the bliss of Krishna consciousness. Not only the soul, also the mind will become happy. Yatma suprasidati. Atma means also the mind, the soul and the mind, the whole subtle body. Everything will become happy, become pleased by devotional service, by bhakti. Okay. Hare Krishna. Stopping here. Any question? How to? Serious. You become serious in Krishna consciousness in two ways. By association with serious devotees. That you have some faith and some attachment to devotees and associating with them, with serious devotees. Then you can become serious. And the other one is by realization, by experience. In the beginning we are all not so much serious. Sometimes we are serious, sometimes not. If we are frank, sometimes we are not serious. So we do not that what actually is pleasing to Krishna. But still Krishna is so merciful that he always gives us an opportunity. He keeps us always. He's very tolerant. Spiritual Master also is very tolerant. Even though he knows that we are neglecting and that we are not following proper, completely. Because life is a school. Also devotees, we are in school. Therefore we never learn out. We never can say, now I master everything about bhakti. Cannot say like that. We are always in the learning process. And life is school. We learn through experience, through positive and negative ones, through suffering, through enjoyments, through success, through failures. And then with the time, if you become more introspective and considering about all these happenings in your life, and you take a lesson out of it. And so now I have to become serious. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, so now I went through so many stages of my life. In so many songs he speaks about the different stages of his life. But then he says, so now in old age I have no other alternative to surrender. But it's very difficult. Because for so many years I was neglecting you, my Lord. I was not serious. I wasted so much time, in family life, in childhood, in familyhood, in my career, in my job, studying, earning money, and in sense gratification. And I committed so many sins, uncountable sins. He sings like that, in his songs, uncountable sins I committed. You find nobody more sinner than me, my Lord. So I'm very fallen, very conditioned. I feel happy when others are suffering, and I feel suffering if I see others happy, like that, So he was really contemplating. He's reflecting about his life. And then he said, now I'm old, and what should I do? I have no other hope now than your mercy. My Lord, give me opportunity to engage in, that I somehow or other can take up this process of devotional service to you. Become serious. If you're not serious, you can pray to become serious. If you want. As we read, Prabhupada said, it's the soul. The soul's choice, ultimately, to come in contact with the material world, and that it suffers. You cannot blame Maya. You cannot blame the mind either. You cannot blame our neighbors or our contemporaries in our life. You cannot blame them. The only one is to blame is us. If a Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, don't blame anyone outside of you, and think they're wrong. I suffer because of them. I cannot enjoy because of them. No, look more in yourself and see the fault in you. Because you cannot see any fault in others without that the faults are in you. Only you have the fault in your heart, you can see it in others. Otherwise you cannot see it. A pure soul don't see any fault. Why? Why a pure soul is not seeing any fault in anyone? Sankirtan Leela. Why? I asked Sankirtan Leela. Your name is Sankirtan Leela? Why he can only see good in others? Why he doesn't see bad? Yeah, because he's pure. If you're pure inside, that means you cannot see impurity outside of yourself. That means people or devotees who still see faults outside, that means there's still also some impurity inside. If a Prabhupada told only Guru can chastise, because it's his duty. He has to see faults. Guru has to see fault in disciple if the disciple is not following properly. If he has some deviation, then the Guru has to tell. It means Guru has to see what is right, what is wrong, and then tell. If he is not telling, then he gets a reaction. But if he tells, and he even tells again and again, even hundreds of times, he's repeating. Prabhupada says, I have to repeat. Why? Because so that we understand, that we finally accept it, because of hearing it so many times. We have to take it serious. Oh, Guru is repeating it already more than 3 times. And I didn't accept. That means I'm grateful. Because Vedic lessons go 3 times. 3 times we have to get the lesson. And if you don't get the lesson in 3 times, then you're hopeless case. Because nowadays we are in Kali Yuga, so we have more opportunity, more chances. So that means from the purity is the force. From the purity we can get the proper vision. Not material purity, spiritual purity. It's called Shuddha Sattva. Evam prasana manaso bhagavad bhakti-yoga bhagavad tattva vijnana mukta sangasa jayate. On the level of vijnana, of realized experience in pure devotional service, then you are liberated. Then you're Jiva Mukta. So everything comes from the purity. That's the tough work what we have to do. But don't always focus how much I'm pure today, how much I'm not pure today. So it's endless. So we have to make progress that steady going on. And even if you don't think about it, the purification and ultimately detachment and attachment to devotional service and to the process of devotional service will become established as an irrevocable fact, will not be moved anymore. It's not shaking anymore. Yeah.
How could he change from the 6 items? So originally it came from Goswami. These 6 items.
No, these 6 items come from Shastra, some scriptures. It's from Hari Bhakti Vilas. Sanatana Goswami is quoting it. I don't know its scripture, but it's a Vedic scripture. It's Sanskrit scripture. Some Tantra, some Vaishnava Tantra scripture. Because Sharanagati is Vaishnava Tantra. That's the rules and regulations to make progress in devotional service. It's not that he changed, he just put it, because in one sense, in the Sanskrit literature, whatever is in the end, the line in the end is the first line. So one can also see it like that. So therefore the Dainya is in first place. It's the most important. Although you read it, Anukulyasya Sankalpa Pratyukulasya Vachanam Rakshisha Tita Vishvaso Goptritve Varanam Tata Atma Nikshepa Karpanye Shadvidha Sharanagati. So you make it opposite. So that means Dainya or Karpanye comes first, then Atma Nikshepa comes second. Because Krishna asked to surrender, but to surrender we need put our ego on the side, our arrogance and proudness, put it on the side, become humble and surrender to Krishna. Cry for help. And then Krishna says, actually Lord Ramachandra, it's my promise, whoever surrenders unto me, calling my name, I will deliver him. I will take him as my own. Okay, good. Hare Krishna, glory to Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki jai.